Welcome back to the second episode of this podcast. So, in this, we're going to talk about design thinking of the entire process of outdoor management. So, what are your views about it?
You recall that in the earlier episode we had spoken, मैंने बात की थी कि एडवेंचर के 3 कैटेगरी हो गए. पर्सनल एडवेंचर होता है, एक ऑर्गेनाइज एडवेंचर होता है और जिसे हम अप्लाइड एडवेंचर कहते हैं. यहाँ पे आउटडोर एडवेंचर को हम एक मीडियम की तरह इस्तेमाल करें, वो माध्यम है. सो हम एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि एक कॉरपोरेट ग्रुप के लिए हम आउटडोर मैनेजमेंट डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं. तो मान लीजिए उन्होंने कहा है कि ये फर्स्ट टाइम लीडर्स हैं, तो लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम करना है. तो आई एम नाउ गोइंग टू यूज आउटडोर्स एंड एडवेंचर एज अ मीडियम टू अचीव द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट.
Right.
And that is where you have to think about the design part. You are not going on a trek for the sake of going on a trek. You are not doing rappelling because you want to teach rappelling,
Right.
or just for the sake of rappelling. You want to use rappelling as a medium which triggers some thoughts in these people, which makes them think about what is lacking in them as leaders. What do they need to learn more? Which means a connection has to be made between the rappelling experience and these managers who are now going to become leaders. And that requires what I am calling as design thinking. Now, there are various ways in which it can be thought, but I can actually quote one of my inspirations, Steve Jobs. We all know who Steve Jobs is. A lot of people say, what is design? And what Steve Jobs has said is, design is not what something looks like.
Yeah.
So design is how something works. It is not how something looks, it is how it works. So you have to make rappelling work for leadership development. You have to make a trek work for team building or induction, campus to company program. And that is the link which requires a thought of designing.
Wow. So basically, when we talk about design thinking, there are definitely different areas. When a certain company is designing a program, or let's say a small adventure like a small activity to, let's say, Lingana. So there are certain things that they must design, they must plan. So what are the basic rules, or what are the basic things that you would like to share?
So keep in mind that we are now talking about applied adventure. If you're just taking people on a climb to Lingana, I will call it organized adventure.
Right.
If you and me are going to Lingana, we can do whatever we want. That will be personal adventure. Now we are talking about applied adventure.
Yes.
First thing to actually study in detail is what is it that the client wants. In fact, there is a very nice concept called jobs to be done. It is called JTBD. It was there's a book called Jobs to be Done by Anthony Ulrich, published in 2016, where they say that design thinking principle. They also call it OBI, objective based innovation. So climbing Lingana is not innovation. People have been climbing it for 30 years. Now, how do you use a climb to Lingana for a leadership development program? Now, that is innovation.
Absolutely.
So, what Anthony Ulrich has said is jobs to be done. There's a very nice example that he gives. He says, when a person comes to buy a 1/4 inch drill, a drill bit, what the person really wants is a 1/4 inch hole.
Yeah.
वो 1/4 इंच का छेद खरीदना चाहते हैं, वो खरीदने आए हैं, वो आप उनको बेच रहे हो ड्रिल बिट 1/4 इंच का. So that if you apply this to outdoors, the question to ask is, are you just selling him a drill bit? Which means, are you just telling him to कि ये लिंगाना चढ़ो, ये रोप है, ये कैराबिनर है, ये झूमर है, ये हार्नेस है? Or are you making a connection between that person's experience of climbing Lingana
Through this.
and it could be leadership development or whatever it is. And that is innovation. So you have to actually, the first step is to carefully study the participants or the client's objective. And it's not as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
So I'll take an example of a This is unfortunately, it has become a buzzword in the organizations these days. It's very commonly used, and I would actually say misused, in fact, abused word is collaboration and team building. We get encouraging program का theme क्या है? Collaboration or team building. What does collaboration mean for that group? Now you have to study this in a little detail. In fact, recently it happened. एक प्रोग्राम पे दो तीन प्रोग्राम एक ही टाइम चल रहे थे. तो मेरा कलीग मिलिंद वो एक प्रोग्राम कर रहा था जहां वो पार्टिसिपेंट सब रिमोट वर्किंग कर रहे थे. अभी टुडे रिमोट वर्किंग पोस्ट कोविड हैज बिकम द नॉर्म. वर्क फ्रॉम होम. All these participants are working in remote locations. They have no connection with each other's project, and they have been brought together saying we want to do a program in collaboration. And Milind asked me, इनके लिए collaboration में मतलब क्या है? And I realized we never thought of this. So I actually later on asked some of my friends in IT company. So I have a friend who works in an IT company in Pune. I asked for you, what does collaboration mean? And she gave me her answer. Now, an IT company, even an IT, is it a product company or a services company?
Yes.
In the product company, which department are you working? Now, for each of these, collaboration would mean something different.
Absolutely.
In an IT company, there would be one meaning to collaboration. If you're in the manufacturing industry, it would mean different. If you are in pharma sales, it would be different. So you can't just go by कि phone आया, हाँ वो collaboration और team building पे program करना है. Do you ask this question saying आपके लिए collaboration का exact मतलब क्या है? Participant ने क्या किया तो उसे आप collaboration कहोगे. You can, I mean, 5 programs may be given the same title. सब program का title क्या है? Team building. But the team is different.
Yeah.
हर एक टीम अलग है तो टीम बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम भी उनके लिए अलग होना चाहिए. तो यू हैव टू फर्स्ट स्टडी कि उनको एग्जैक्टली चाहिए क्या. टू गिव यू दैट, आई मीन पहले जो एग्जांपल दिया कि आधा इंच का ड्रिल वो खरीदना है, उन्हें आधा इंच का छेद खरीदना है एक्चुअली.
So I think let's put it in a other way. When we talk about adventure sports, what should be those key points when we talk about design thinking?
Okay, so first, as I said, is the objective.
Yes.
What do they have to do? Second is what are your capabilities?
Right.
What are your resources? I mean by resources now I am including the area that you have. Okay. So you might think that इनके लिए whitewater rafting बिल्कुल fit बैठेगा.
Yes.
Is there whitewater rafting nearby? Now there are practical considerations. Now if you have to travel to Rishikesh for this program and the group is in Ahmednagar, if they don't have the budget or time to go to Rishikesh, even though it's a great idea, you have to make do with, let's say, rafting in Kolad.
Absolutely.
Or think of some other activity, which means you have to think of मेरे पास यहाँ पे क्या resources हैं. अच्छा मैं white water rafting की जगह मैं raft building कर सकता हूँ क्या? या फिर कुछ अलग ही कर सकता हूँ क्या? क्या मैं ट्रैक करके यही लर्निंग ला सकता हूँ? कौन सा ट्रैक उसके लिए मुझे करना पड़ेगा? एंड देन द क्रिटिकल, सो फर्स्ट इज लर्निंग द ऑब्जेक्टिव, getting the objective clarified. Second is assessing what resources I have.
Yes.
Third is actually conducting it within safety, of course. You can never compromise safety. And the fourth critical part for the facilitator is to make connections or help the participant make connections between their living experience and what the objective of the program is. That is what is to me the last step.
In short, when we talk about design thinking, the key points are completely different in different activities. For example, let's say land, air or water.
Absolutely.
And we have so many activities going on in India. Absolutely. You know, there has to be a course designed for this. And this is what the requirement I feel. Yeah, I mean, we are coming back to the same question again and again.
Absolutely.
That a proper course has to be designed.
Certainly.
And I'm sure, you know, people like you can definitely work on this, because this is a generation's requirement right now.
Yeah.
Because people are just doing treks, doing activities just haywire. They don't have any clues what they are doing. So this is a very important in fact, initiative.
From the field of applied adventure, I'll obviously not name either the company or the this happened about 20 years ago. Applied adventure, you know, OMD program ka inquiry. So we were told that why don't you include parasailing in this?
Right.
We had no expertise in parasailing. Even today, I have zero expertise.
Absolutely.
I'm not into air adventure at all. So we said we can't. We will not be able to conduct parasailing. So the company said, no, we have already contacted a parasailing
Somebody.
operator. So we got sort of arm twisted into agreeing. We never asked कि क्यों करना है parasailing. इसका और आपके objective का connection क्या है? Okay. It is another matter that the parasailing actually was quite disastrous. This was on land with a jeep and
Yes.
God knows why. There's a lot of miscommunication. The organization, the coordinator actually asked people to wear shorts and t-shirts. People landed on the ground, they got dragged. We had injuries. The amount of Dettol and Band-Aid that we used on that program, I think it was a world record. I mean, today we can joke about it, but the point is that none of the design principles were used.
Absolutely.
We did not ask the client why parasailing. We did not check the safety record. We did not say, if we want to do this, what are the risks that we are taking? We did not make connection between the parasailing and this. Where is design thinking in this? So, of course, I also have good examples to quote.
Yeah.
This I am telling you as a
one of the
shining
points.
bad example.
Yes.